Modern distribution management acts as an integrated ecosystem. It is the precise orchestration of packaging, inventory, and warehousing that dictates the final price and placement of a product. For any progressive corporation, financial longevity depends on driving down these physical distribution costs. As goods turn over more quickly, profit margins increase, allowing a business to remain competitive in a crowded market. Many supply chains still rely on a traditional point-to-point freight model. This system involves direct, uncoordinated shipping from thousands of suppliers straight to localized retailers. This decentralized approach forces retailers to hold inventory in inadequate storage spaces. On a national scale, it results in an inefficient fleet mix, as underutilized vehicles occupy the same narrow transit corridors. When a national network relies exclusively on point-to-point transit, these localized bottlenecks create a hard ceiling on economic growth. To understand the scale of this friction, we have to look at the geometry of India's road network. Of the 5.6 million kilometers of total road, the vast majority consists of local and state routes. The national highways account for just 2.3% of that total length, covering approximately 131,000 kilometers. Despite their small footprint, these specific highways cater to over 40% of the entire country's road traffic. This creates an unfavorable modal mix. Heavy bulk freight is forced to compete with local passenger traffic on the same narrow arteries, leading to systemic delays. Adding more vehicles to this existing layout cannot resolve the delay. Improving the flow requires a redesign of the network's architectural layout. The mathematical solution to this gridlock is a hub-and-spoke model. While point-to-point systems create a web of crossing, uncoordinated routes, introducing a central consolidation node reduces the total number of required transit paths and allows for optimized fleet loads. In a modern logistics network, this central hub is the Multimodal Logistics Park, or MMLP. An MMLP functions as a specialized macroeconomic zone engineered to synchronize domestic, export, and import cargoes at high volumes. These parks provide the physical infrastructure that allows a nation to transition its logistics strategy from a point-to-point model into a hub-and-spoke system. Because of the scale required for national freight, an MMLP must cover a minimum of 50 acres. To facilitate multimodal transport, the plot requires direct connections to state highways, alongside a private freight terminal linking directly to the national rail network. Integrating rail directly into the park increases the rail coefficient, allowing a single train to move a volume of goods otherwise requiring hundreds of trucks. The facility acts as a site for freight aggregation, providing dedicated parking for waiting trailers and empty container depots for maintenance and storage. Inside, mechanized warehouses are divided into distinct zones for bonded imports and exports, alongside separate sections for domestic cleared cargo. This centralized storage model eliminates the need for individual retailers to hold excessive stock in their own local, often unmechanized facilities. The MMLP functions as a physical buffer in the supply chain, absorbing the shock of supply and demand fluctuations through organized retention. MMLPs provide value-added services that standard warehouses cannot, including the specialized equipment needed to handle over-dimensional cargo and out-of-gauge shipments. These hubs also provide the technical infrastructure for temperature-controlled supply chains, featuring reefer plugs, pre-trip inspection zones, and dedicated areas for hazardous IMDG cargo. Permanent heavy equipment, including reach stackers and gantry cranes, allow for the rapid transition of both less-than-container and full-container loads. In strategic locations, waterfront access at an MMLP allows for multimodal water transport, including barging and feedering services. By offering on-site customs clearance, surveying, and round-the-clock operations, these hubs significantly reduce the time required for cargo to clear the administrative portion of the supply chain. Constructing a 50-acre facility with rail and highway access requires capital and land acquisition, often beyond the reach of private developers alone. Because of these high entry barriers, the public-private partnership, or PPP, is the most viable model for developing logistics parks. The government's role in this partnership is to secure long-tenured loans, assist in complex land acquisition, and build the essential trunk infrastructure that connects the park to the wider network. The private sector then provides access to modern management technologies and ensures the efficiency of daily operations and long-term maintenance. This division of labor allows the project to overcome the bureaucratic hurdles of land development while benefiting from the operational precision of the private sector. We can see this framework in practice through India's Logistics Efficiency Enhancement Program, or LEAP. This initiative identifies 35 strategic locations for MMLPs, expected to handle 50. To manage this scale, 33 memorandums of understanding have been signed between state governments, port trusts, and private entities to coordinate the necessary infrastructure. The LEAP initiative represents a coordinated effort to restructure how the internal resources of a $2.9 trillion economy physically move from point to point. Transitioning to this hub-and-spoke model lowers overall freight costs by allowing for higher fleet utilization and more efficient cargo consolidation. It provides civic and environmental benefits. By pulling freight off primary highways, the system reduces vehicular pollution and eases congestion causing highway accidents. For individual businesses, centralized control over the distribution process cuts warehousing costs and reduces the frequency of errors in delivery times. Successful distribution management is critical to a company's longevity, and MMLPs provide the physical infrastructure needed to achieve that efficiency. Implementing multimodal logistics parks creates a distinction between economies limited by geographical friction and those that have optimized internal networks for fluid movement.